Dinner in Hell Band! Oh!
Sounding brilliant tonight.
So mighty. Just like this audience.
Oh, they look incredible.
The eruption.
Welcome in here.
It's like as soon as the word band is yelled, it's like the crowd seems to just erupt.
Yeah, they know.
Every
they know the score
time.
by this time.
Every time.
Welcome back for another exciting edition of the Dinner in Hell podcast, the show where two amateur historians talk about the atrocious underbelly of history. I am one of your co-hosts, Brad the Impaler, and with me, as always, Ron Maiden, first of his name, King of the Andals and the First Men, unburnt, breaker of chains. How we doing tonight?
8% Hobbit. Bloodline.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come from a long line of a lot of different families in my family tree.
The Tukes or the Underhills. Who we talking here? I know my way around the Shire, my friend.
Look, I'm not giving you the Ron Maiden exclusive interview here, Brad the Impaler.
All right, because we don't get along with those Tukes.
It's not happening. Frickin' have you are you aware of the show? I think the Discovery Channel aired it. It's called Manhunt, and it's all about the Unabomber.
I've heard of it. I haven't seen any of it yet, though it does intrigue me.
I'm currently watching two shows right now. Set the DVR, record it, whatever. And this show Manhunt is on Netflix, but Sam Worthington, who's the lead guy in Avatar, is the FBI guy who's like good with words. And it shows the process of how they actually, what was the starting point leading to capturing the Unabomber. But now I'm at the end of the season where it's like they're figuring out that it's a cabin in the woods. But now all of a sudden you're in the cabin and you're with the Unabomber, like dealing with his life, like what he does every day. He's like got lettuce growing and like little garden, like a little shitty little cabin, but it's really interesting. It's really sweet, and I freaking can't wait to do a Unabomber episode now. Like, put that topic in the Dinner in Hell catalog.
Yeah, we ought to get to him soon. It's an interesting story.
And I'm like, he's like, all I want to do is live in the woods, man. Like all you guys, technology, bro. That's the Unabomber's voice. Freaking,
that's exactly what he
said. Ted Kaczynski. Is he alive or dead? Did he get executed?
I don't know.
But this other show on TNT, The Alienist. By the way, they paid for me to tell you guys about this. This is a paid for ad.
Ted Turner, what up? Keep them checks rolling in, baby.
This show called The Alienist, and it's all about like it's before like fingerprint. The word fingerprint was used. They're like finger marks. Not two are the same.
Oh, so it's not about the reptiles that are secretly controlling our government?
No.
Okay, sorry.
They're like top hats and shit, like horse-drawn carriages and shit.
Victorian times, sort of.
So there's a serial killer, and he's preying on these boy prostitutes. It's disturbing, but especially if you have like a son, that sucks. It's like the age of these prostitutes. Eesh. But freaking the killer sends a letter to the parent of one of the victims, and it's almost like perfectly word for word from the Albert Fish. Remember we did the Albert Fish episode? And in the episode you read, was it you that read the letter, or one of the red letter was read, right?
We didn't. I don't think we read.
Oh, we didn't.
Letter. No.
Oh my God.
I don't think either of us wanted that our voices or that those words in our voices forever out there.
Like in Albert's letter, he described how he cooked some of the meat of the victim, and the victim was a child.
Yes, 9-year-old Grace Budd. Like
certain body parts were named, like. And he also in the letter said how he didn't have sex with the victim. Like, just so you know, I didn't. I could have, but I didn't. Like, Merry Christmas to you. Yeah. You have a blessed day. Yeah. Just so you know, I killed and ate your kid unscathed by my penis.
But she was delicious, by the way.
Yeah. Freaking episode 67, Brad,
What's up? You no kidding. 6'7".
We're coming off of Manson.
Yeah.
here we are with another atrocious son of a bitch. We've done Hitler.
Yep.
We've done Manson.
Yep.
We've done Dahmer.
Yep.
And the fourth face of the Dinner in Hell Mount Rushmore.
Who is it?
Ahead of Nero, Christopher Columbus.
Huh?
The Italian explorer turned conquistador.
Yeah. And boy, oh boy. Whew, there's some corkers in this one, isn't there?
Classic corkers. You took the words out of my mouth. Oh, I say that word all the time. It's crazy.
Yeah, there's some good ones in here. You're about to hear some shit. If you think this dude was a cool dude, you might feel differently by the end of this episode.
Oh, we're going to bring back the little heads up. We will be discussing more hand removal, which seems to be on about 5 of the last 7 episodes.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening.
Hands have been removed.
We're not doing it on purpose, but
hands will be removed on this episode.
In
Heads
case
up.
you're sensitive to hand violence, we're very sorry. We're not doing this at you.
If you currently have a removed hand by an accident, machine shop accident, sorry.
Yeah.
You might want to skip to the Rome 410 episode. I don't know. That's one of our greatest episodes. I'm telling you, Brad, you know what? I was about to say, oh, yeah, you know how we always say, tune into this. If you like this topic, then tune in this episode. It's a really good episode, which most of our episodes I think are good. I don't know, but this...
Yeah, I did think it was a little strange that you were going to pitch Rome 410 at him.
Yeah, well, I was just thinking like, I think that's probably our worst episode, actually, Rome 410. It's about the sacking of Rome.
Yeah, it's kind of disjointed.
It's like, if you look at our list of episodes, you go to SoundCloud, you hit show all, and you go through the list. There ain't no other sacking episodes. Like, we did that episode, and we, like, never turned back. We're like, I think we're good on sacking for a couple seasons.
Yeah, we probably could have even gone with a better sacking in retrospect.
Yeah.
But
sometimes we'll do episodes and we forget we leave stuff.
But go listen to it.
All right, yeah. Don't listen to it. Listen to all our other ones first.
Yeah, then go back to that one.
So Christopher Columbus.
This guy was born in the Republic of Genoa in October at some point in 1451. I mean, he probably would expect Ligurian when he was born, so that would have been Christopher Colombo. Yeah, and everywhere had a bunch of different shit for it.
Yeah.
No.
I know him as Chris.
Yeah. That, I think of the... Isn't there a director named Chris Columbus? I thought I started talking before I finished the end of that.
I don't know.
Fuck it.
But I know him as Chris Columbus, and... but I also refer to Kris Kringle as Christopher Kringle, so I'm quirky. Don't fake laugh, dude. Don't fake laugh.
I was just trying to figure out what that was.
It's Santa Claus, man. White.
Yeah, but I was like, Christopher Kringle didn't sound that weird to me.
White beard.
Yeah. St. Nicholas.
Yeah, him. Yeah. But please, that was a fake laugh. If you think that laugh was fake, tweet hashtag Dinner in Hell fake laughs. Next time I say something that's not funny, I just want you to flip me the bird. No one can hear it. Like that.
All right.
Perfect. Just like that. I'm just kidding.
So Chris had a sort of Renaissance middle-class upbringing. His old man was a wool weaver, which evidently afforded you a middle-class sort of life. And he also owned a cheese stand.
I think his mother was a weaver as well.
Yeah, maybe she got down with the weaving. I didn't see that. But I'm sure weaving could be a family business, you know? From Columbus's own memoirs, we get to hear him recall first going to sea. He says at the age of 10. Which seems young to be working out on your own, but I guess that's what happened. The first record we can verify of him working on the sea, you know, like an independent verification sort of scenario, was in 1470. So he would have been a little bit closer to 19 then. At that point, his family had moved to Savona to take over the operation of a tavern, which, I mean, owning a bar sounds dope. And he got hired to work aboard a Genoese ship, attempting to support the conquer of the Kingdom of Naples.
1470, that would be during the Jefferson administration, I believe.
Yeah, somewhere around that.
Around 1473, he's like, look, I'm going to start my own business. It's going to be a sailing business, exploration business.
Yep. Right after he gets a little bit of seasoning out on the open ocean, he goes out on his own. He begins working as an agent for a couple of extremely rich families, sailing back and forth between Genoa, Galway, Bristol, and Iceland. Which sounds like very pleasant ports to land in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how bad the trips would be between the stuff. I have no idea.
He's like, I like that Iceland port.
Yeah, I mean, 1471, that's when the post-rock scene was there. It was really starting to take off. So, I mean, real eclectic culture up there.
Give me an example of some post-rock Icelandic.
Like Sigur Rós is the only one I'm thinking of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you sing some for us? Or
Absolutely not.
Okay.
My falsetto is not good.
All right. By 1477, he had really made a name for himself.
He sure did. He was now based out of Lisbon in Portugal. Iberian Peninsula, one of your favorites, we know.
That's right. One of two peninsulas that we'll mention on this program. We will mention the one over in South America, Central America. Yucatan.
Yucatan?
Yeah. That may come up too. Little peninsula. Every time we say peninsula, you drink at home. If you're at home doing the drinking game, today's word's peninsula. Whoa.
Yeah, and his brother was working with him at this point in time too, Bartolomeo. He was mostly involved in like cartography, like making the maps and determining like navigational routes and shit like that. He was like a home base type dude most of the time. But the two got on well enough and were working together.
Dude gets married. He marries a woman named Felipa.
Yeah, Felipa, she was the daughter of the Porto Santo governor and Portuguese nobleman of Lombard origin, Bartolomeo Perestrello. I think that's how you say that. And it might be Porastrello if it's in Portuguese. Damn, my Portuguese is not up to snuff. Do you know?
No. No. Sorry.
Well, so that gets us up to about 1480 when his son Diego Columbus was born. Now, he further broadens his professional horizons at this point into beginning sailing trading routes along West Africa until about 1845. 1845, unfortunately, Felipa dies, and Columbus returns to get his son Diego, and from that point on, he is living life on the high seas with his old man.
The child?
Yeah, a 5-year-old child is on a boat all the time.
And when I was in Barcelona, there's a statue pointing at the sea.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Barcelona, and that's Columbus. But people say but people don't really actually know what he looked like.
Yeah, there's really no art. Yeah, there's no art of him from when he was alive.
I was thinking whoever sculpted the statue, that statue's probably of someone they know. Like, I'm gonna make this my uncle. No one's gonna know it.
Yeah,
Uncle Rick.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I bet that's exactly what happened, because I would totally do shit like that.
Yeah.
I would think it was hilarious to have like that little secret or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it'd be like a present too. Like I'd be like, "Hey, Uncle Bob, you see that new statue I did?"
Yeah. I don't have it's Uncle Rick though.
Uncle Rick specifically.
Yeah. Follow the script. I wrote it. Read it.
I was just using it. I was falling into your theater of the mind. I had myself in the role of sculptor.
Yeah.
Yeah. He never found marriage again, but he did find love.
Good for him.
Yeah, he had a mistress that he kept sort of on again, off again for the rest of his life, named Beatrice Enriquez de Arana. Now, towards the later end of his life, he left Diego with plenty of resources to and instructions to take care of his mistress. Because they never got married, but it was like a lifelong scenario after that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But maybe Hereditary is being a shitty person because Diego did not do that. He totally abandoned the mistress and kept all the shit that was supposed to go to her for himself. You begin running theme now. He was really smart, kind of. He was like smart enough for it to be really dangerous, it seemed like. That's what a lot of the historians would say when I was doing Columbus research, is like he was able to get himself out of a jam with his brains. He was able to successfully navigate using the trade winds, which was really impressive at the time. But like he was also super overconfident. He firmly believed things that people had already known differently for hundreds of years before then. Yeah, you'll see. Just smart enough to get himself into trouble and occasionally get himself out of a few jams.
He's lucky yet unlucky.
Yeah. That's exactly, I think, the way to look at his sort of circumstances throughout his life.
He's streaky with his luck.
Yeah.
He'll go really lucky or really unlucky, real hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's no real, yeah.
And he was a piece of human garbage. So the reason, why was he even setting out west from Europe to begin with, you may be asking? Well, the peace on the Silk Road through which Europe had done most of its trading with Asia, the peace on the road was guaranteed by the Great Mongol Empire because they ruled that whole continent basically with an iron fist. But as that started to crumble and bandits and shit started coming back to the Silk Road, that stopped becoming quite as profitable. So they were looking for a way to get to India, China, Japan by sea.
Did they pay tolls to the Mongols to keep this freaking Silk Road like protected?
I mean, the Mongols got their cut,
yeah,
but I don't think it was toll based.
Okay.
I think it was just like they ruled the entire country with an iron fist.
Yeah.
Like there wasn't going to be any robbery because like you would just immediately die for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so they were looking for a sea route, and the most sensible way that they could figure out was to go south around Africa. Columbus said, no. We go west, we go straight there. No problemo.
Yeah, I got a shortcut. And of course, as we all know, at that time, as we're taught in schools in America, that everyone thought the world was flat. Like, oh my God, are you crazy? You're going to fall off the edge.
Yeah, I don't remember.
The world is flat, you maniac.
I don't remember being specifically taught that that's why he did it, was to prove the earth was round.
Right.
But I remember getting that impression from what they were telling me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, like we've mentioned before in our other episode, the Divine Pythagoras, people have known that the world was round for thousands of years before Christopher Columbus was even around. Everybody knew this. It was not controversial.
Yeah.
Everybody knew the world was round.
Aristotle knew it.
Yeah.
As well.
Oh, yeah. Columbus asked for support for the journey to finance it and was denied by Genoa, Portugal, and England. Before finally the Catholic monarchs, King and Queen Ferdinand and Isabella, after 2 full years of negotiation, decided to bankroll his adventure across the Atlantic.
But at this point, he had done many trips before, and he started to get a reputation where people didn't want to sail with him. So he ended up hiring like teenagers, because at the time, like teenagers were the only ones that were like, "Fuck yeah, I'll do it. I don't care. I ain't doing shit." Yeah. Anyways, and so like he'd have like a crew of like rookie people. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not to mention, also on this ship would be small crime people like prostitution or pickpocketing, if you could, for this, like a colonization, if you could live there for a year, when you return to Spain, you would have zero, you'd be free and clear. Immunity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, like your record wiped.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can dig it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't sound so bad.
Which made me think, like, people were like in jail, like hard time jail for like pickpocketing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
nowadays,
you step out of line. They'd kill you for stealing sometimes.
Right. So, like, remember how when we do our execution method episodes and they're so graphic and terrible, and because it's for treason.
Yeah.
Like, that's like their shit is so hard. Like nowadays, we just do like lethal injection. Like it's easier. Like their shit was so extreme that even pickpocketing was like the dungeon, like your arms chained up, you know.
Well,
rats.
Dude, until recently, we were murdering people with electricity. That's pretty fucked up.
You could smell them.
Yeah, we're cooking people with like 20,000 volts. It was fucking ridiculous. Insane, weird torture method.
We have not done the electric chair. We have not done an episode on Sparky. We've talked about victims of it. Mm-hmm. The priest.
Oh yeah, electric chairs in the pipeline somewhere. Gotta be.
Yeah.
Eventually, we'll get around to that one, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So, also promised to Columbus on these trips were 1/10 of the profits of whatever lands he discovers. Whatever profits might become, those are automatically his in perpetuity until he dies.
Big money.
Yeah.
Especially if there's gold there.
Mm-hmm. And he also gets to be in charge of these lands, any that he discovers and claims for the Spanish Empire. The only reason the Spanish go for this shit too, because another explorer during this period reached the Cape, the Horn of Africa. It was like, hey guys, I found the other side. Like, yeah, we can go this way. We totally can.
Yeah.
So everyone else was like, that looks ridiculous. You're taking such a giant risk. We'll just go this way. And Spain was trying to like, we got to do anything we can to catch up on these colonies. Like,
so you're saying they went from Spain down?
Yeah, all the way around to India.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Down through along Africa and then through the Indian Ocean.
Yep. Which I've swam in.
Nice. I've swum in
Lake Michigan.
Only water in America. Only American water.
Have you touched the water of every Great Lake?
No.
I've not done Ontario. I've seen it. I've been in Toronto and seen it.
That's like the bastard one, right? The one that's not touching Michigan.
Right.
Yeah, fuck that.
Have you been in Niagara Falls?
Yeah.
Has the water hit you?
Yeah. Oh,
You've
shit.
touched it.
I have
Lake
touched
Ontario,
all of them,
baby.
Then. Yeah.
Lucky you.
I have touched them all.
Whew. All these new personal details.
Lake Superior is my favorite natural thing in the world. We got to get back there soon. Hell yeah, dude. I don't know what it is.
You're swimming it?
Yes. It's
cold as hell.
Even in like August, it's like the water's like 60 degrees tops.
This one time we were running along the beach where I was a little kid, but I loved, animals and shit. Mm-hmm. And there was a little snapping turtle. It was probably about 6 inches from head to tail, the shell.
Yeah.
In the waves. I'm like, oh shit, I better save this turtle, right? So I freaking pull this snapping turtle out and I put him on the land. But then now as I'm an adult looking back, he was probably fine in the water temperature. And when I took him out, he's probably like, God damn it, I can't move. Like
reptile, cold blood.
Yeah, he's probably better off in the water was probably warmer than the air. Maybe or something. I don't know. Yeah. If I can go back in time, I would leave that turtle in the goddamn wake. Is that the right word? Wake? Because if you wakeboard. Oh, fuck. This is so stupid.
Wakes are generally behind boats.
Whew. I don't know what my problem is. I just keep saying bullshit.
I love it. I'll tell you what, though. Columbus was real fucking lucky that the American continents exist, though, because he severely underestimated the distance by sea to Asia.
You mean like planning, like bringing food, water?
Yes. It's in reality approximately 20,000 kilometers to sail from Spain to Asia. And if America wasn't there, if you just did like a straight shot west and made it there.
Yeah.
The problem is he thought it was only 1,200 kilometers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and 20,000 kilometers is way too far. No sailing vessel of the time period could have possibly held enough fresh water and food to get somebody from Europe to Asia sailing that direction alive. They would have never made it. It was physically impossible.
Unless you take cannibalism into consideration.
No, you would have died of thirst.
Purify the water.
This is not Waterworld.
I have a genius way to purify seawater. I don't know why no one's thought of this.
All right,
you ready for this one?
Put it on a bunch of French fries, and then you drink the water after it soaks through.
Let's say all you have is a canister that you can maybe boil. A pot or a jar or something that can boil. You fill it with the freaking seawater, right? You grab, say, if all you have is a leaf that has a tip, you place that over the open top. You boil the seawater, right? Mm-hmm. The steam will rise, collect, condense on the leaf. The steam will rise, the salt will remain in the pot, and the fresh water will drip down the leaf into your other container. Purified. Fuck everyone.
Yeah, that would
right?
Seems like it would totally work.
Couldn't that work?
Yeah, do you think you could get even close to enough, though?
I mean, look, we're talking rationing here. We're not talking like overindulging in fresh water. 1 cup at a time here.
Yeah,
folks.
that would be
chill.
decadent.
Yeah, like chill out. Break out the gold coins. How much gold we talking? Move to the front of the line.
Well, maybe if Ron Maiden had been around back then, they could have made it. But he would have been fucked if America wasn't there.
Right. You know, he hit other islands. He was on the hunt for gold.
Mm-hmm.
The dude would land on islands like in Haiti or Cuba or something, and like these natives were like smoking tobacco, like cigars. They were like chewing it, snuffing it, like all this tobacco, and he's like, "Man, this ain't gonna make me any money." And then he goes to this other, and there's like cocoa beans, this other island.
Cocoa or coca?
For chocolate.
Okay.
And he's like, "Nah, there's no value here." And he kept sailing, looking for chasing this gold one. Dude, he could have just chilled and got the tobacco.
Yeah. That would have made him rich alone.
I know. But he was ambitious.
So that takes us up to the fateful day, the fateful year, August 3rd, 1492. He set sail for the Indies, specifically aiming for Japan, which he actually called Chipangu.
Bushido.
Yeah, he took it from Marco Polo.
Yeah. Probably went to this room together at navigation school.
Yeah, well, a homie's got 3 ships. The Santa Clara, which you may know as the Nina, the flagship Santa Maria, and the Pinta.
So October 12th, someone on the Pinta, the lookout guy, he's like, "Land ahead.
Land ho.
Port bow. Starboard side."
Yeah, he actually spots the land first. And Columbus, he's like, "Oh, yeah, totally. I saw that 2 hours ago." Because you get a lot of money if you were the first person on this mission to sight land. And he can't even let the lowly lookout even get his hands on a tiny taste of the amount of riches that this fucking trip is going to generate. So he claims it for himself retrospectively. He's like, "Yeah, I saw it. I just didn't say anything. So don't worry about it. I'm the one who saw it. You didn't see it. I saw the land. I'm the one who saw the land, obviously."
Right.
Yeah.
He's like, "Can you swim? How good can you swim?
How far can you swim?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you fight sharks with your fists? You want to go swimming? I saw it first.
Yeah. And he did. He got that pension. The lookout didn't get shit.
So that's the worst Columbus has done. So what do you think of Columbus now, folks?
Yeah.
Show over.
Change now, and we'll see. We'll see. Because the land that he sighted was somewhere in the Bahamas. We can't determine exactly the island that he landed on first, but upon landing, he did encounter the peaceful Arawak tribespeople. Now, what do you suspect his first move is here upon encountering a peaceful native population?
I don't know.
This guy who has a holiday named after him. What do you think he got up to when he met those?
Broke out like
natives?
flamenco guitar, like bling, you know?
Yeah, now
like,
knowing about how
blow their minds with this guitar.
Like Esteban.
Yeah.
Well, now knowing what you know about how he treated that Pinta lookout, how would you say he probably treated them once he noticed they were all wearing gold earrings?
Oh, shit. Now there's money involved.
Yep.
That means there's bloodshed involved.
Oh, yeah. He immediately kidnapped some of the Arawak in an attempt to force them to reveal the source of their gold. I mean, he saw a bunch of dudes with scars. When he made them point out how it happened, fucking they said, oh, these people try to kidnap us, and we try to fight them off. And, boy, he says they ought to make good and skilled servants, for they repeat very quickly whatever we say to them. I think they can very easily be made Christians, for they seem to have no religion. If it pleases our Lord, I will take 6 of them to your highnesses when I depart, in order that they may learn our language.
He ended up taking a couple back to Spain for them to learn Spanish so they can come back and translate with other tribes people.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the gold at?
Yep, that's probably, they only had to teach him one fucking question.
Yeah, point to the direction to the gold.
He noted their primitive weapons and military tactics made them susceptible to easy conquest. He writes, these people are very simple in warlike matters. I could conquer the whole of them with 50 men and govern them as I please. Pretty brutal. Pretty blatantly, like, fucking horrible.
I was thinking, though, like, today, yeah. Well, no, by no means should he have a holiday named after him.
Mm-hmm.
But to think back, to judge him for some of the shit he was up to then, now, wasn't it like normal kind of behavior for someone like that? Like, wouldn't an explorer like him do the same thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're all absolutely doing
So let's not
shit
act like let's not. I mean, it could have been anybody.
My basic position is, like, if they were not a philosopher and they're from more than, like, a couple hundred years ago, they were total garbage. Like, garbage people. Just the most, like, by any standard you could recognize, like, people were way meaner, way fucking nastier. Like, everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying all these people would be just god awful if they were put under a modern microscope. Basically, all of them.
Yeah.
Take the good ideas they had, learn from their mistakes, but very few historical figures are in any way actually heroic. They're normal human people. So even the ones that are like good, they got fucked up skeletons in the closet. So he does take off from the unknown island, and he shoots over to explore the north coast of Cuba, eventually landing again on Hispaniola, which is what they called the island that now contains Haiti and the Dominican Republic. It's actually only one of 2 shared islands in the Caribbean, I learned. The other one is St. Martin's, which is half owned by the French and half owned by the Netherlands. Yeah, this is where it gets bad, though. The Santa Maria actually wrecks at Hispaniola. He winds up using it for target practice to intimidate the native tribespeople there, known then as the Taino.
So he's on the boat shooting at the beach?
No, the ship, the Santa Maria, is like wrecked on the rocks, and he's got the other ships blow it up with their cannons to like be like, look what we can do.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you got both. You got arrows. You
could use the wood from the boat to like build settlements.
Remember when we said he was like
smart,
but just smart enough to get into trouble?
Gotcha. Yeah.
He did found a settlement there. He did found one there. He left 39 men behind to manage it while he was going back to Spain. And this first trip is just sort of the dread, you know? Like, he got up to some bullshit, but it wasn't too horrible for the people there. It really starts on the way back.
39 people that he left there, when he returned there, they were either missing or their decomposing bodies were there. They were killed by the locals.
Oh, yeah. They're fucking terrible people that he left there, and they were abusing the shit out of the people, so they rose up, killed them, and wrecked the settlement.
Like, burned their settlements down. Yeah.
Yeah, when he finally gets back, he finds 11 of the 39 bodies are in the ruins of the settlement, and you're right, the rest of them were all missing. I would say definitely dead.
Yeah.
It's not like they're going to join like a rival tribe and like be like, hey, it's cool finding out with you guys. I doubt that's going down.
Right.
Now, a friend of Columbus writes on the way back, while I was in the boat, I captured a very beautiful Carib woman whom they said Lord Admiral gave to me, meaning this woman was given as a gift to this man by Christopher Columbus. When I had taken her to my cabin, she was naked, as was their custom. I was filled with a desire to take my pleasure with her and attempted to satisfy my desire. She was unwilling and so treated me with her nails that I wished I had never begun. But to cut a long story short, I then took a piece of rope and whipped her soundly, and she let forth such incredible screams that you would not have believed your ears. Eventually, we came to such terms, I assure you, that you would have thought that she had been brought up in a school for whores.
And by whores, you mean harlots?
Whores. Yes. This is some real scummery. He's like, look at how he puts it at the end. The worst part to me is when he's like, we came to terms. Like, now we've agreed on something. Like, this was a fair negotiation. Now we're having fun, good sex.
Yeah.
No.
You don't think he handed her like trinkets?
No, I think
shiny glass beads.
I think he beat her with a rope until she gave up and gave in to save her own life. What an asshole. And Columbus was like, yeah, just do whatever you want. This is his doing. He was like, gave this woman as property to this dude. That's going to become a running theme here.
Yes, that's awful and terrible. But there's one nice thing, another little counter nice thing he did.
Mm-hmm.
There's one story where there was the leader of a tribe had sent 2 girls to their ship, and it was a 13-year-old girl and an 8-year-old girl.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're there for gifts. They're yours now. It's not for anything good for the girls. And Columbus is like, no one touch them, and freaking dressed them up in nice clothes because they were like, you know, tribal, like loincloths or whatever, probably with no tops, probably they're like nude. And
yeah, I mean, I think they were all naked.
Yeah. And he dressed them and took care of them. I think, I don't know, bathed them, who knows.
Yeah,
but like sent them back like nice, like nobody touch them, like protected them.
Yeah. If you never knew anything but the Caribbean climate, would you ever put clothes on?
For bug bites only, but if you live there, it's probably a different story.
Yeah, you're probably like used to that. Or it's not that big of a deal.
Or they don't care about you or something. Seems like no CMs care about me when I go to Florida. They murder me.
Yeah, but I don't know if is there a lot of bugs in like the Caribbean? Like whenever I see footage of it, I don't see that many bugs. I've never been. I don't know.
Yeah, like
I'm used to fucking Michigan where there's bugs everywhere all the time.
Oh, no CMs are awful. They're like worse than mosquitoes because you can like see a mosquito coming and like shoo it away. No CMs is like too late. Now you got a freaking bug bite on your arm for a week. Oh. When he returned those girls, the leader of that tribe took it as an insult. Like, it's like their custom. Like, it's like, oh, no, what? These aren't good enough for you? Mr. Italian? Yeah.
Yeah, he did one other good deed that I can recall off the top of my head, too.
So he's trying to do a good deed, but in turn, it's like, it's a bad for him because they like it.
Ba-dum.
Yeah.
Bing. Slide whistle. Well, the other good thing he did is he did rescue 2 boys who had just been kidnapped by a rival tribe and castrated. And he was able to get them, I don't know, some sort of Renaissance like medical attention, keep them alive, and get them back to their families. He did do that.
Really?
Yeah, so I got to throw my bone on that one.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
It's not, yeah. He's an asshole with off and on heart. Like, off and on.
Yeah, now by the end of this episode, you may, like me, question why the fuck he bothered to do either of these things. But, well, let's see. So where he's coming back, right?
He had a passion.
First time he had 3 ships. This time, 17 and 1,200 men. This is not exploring anymore. This is full-on immediate imperial colonization.
Bad news.
Yeah, they're taking over. Like you said earlier, he gets back to the Hispaniola settlement, and they're all dead. So he has to start from scratch there, which he does. And before he discovers like the whole rest of the Caribbean. That's basically his exploring work on this second trip, is he discovers pretty much the whole Caribbean. And again, discovers is in quotation marks because there's already people there. They are the ones who discovered it.
No, they didn't land on Plymouth Rock.
Plymouth Rock landed on them.
Yeah.
Now, his soldiers killed and enslaved with impunity at every landing. When he fell ill in 1495, what little restraint he had maintained over his men disappeared as he went through a lengthy period of recuperation. Contemporary writes. The troops went wild, stealing, killing, raping, and torturing natives, trying to force them to divulge the whereabouts of the imagined treasure houses of gold. As many as 50,000 native people died during this trip alone. 50,000. I was just about to keep talking, but I feel like I should hit that one again, just on one island.
Are you counting like disease too?
Yeah.
The
worst of the disease didn't come till a little bit later on. Actually, after Columbus was dead. But so Columbus gets better, right? And he's got these men who are out with no restraint, terrorizing the shit out of all the native people. And when he gets better, what do you think he does? Do you think he gets all his soldiers in line and gets them behaving professionally and shit? The answer is no. He organizes their hatred and sadism to be as effective as possible. Yeah, I mean, he formed squadrons of several hundred heavily armed men and more than 20 attack dogs. I mean, they killed thousands of unarmed people. I mean, they would use their captives for sword practice. They would either try to get clean decapitations or cut whole people in half with one blow.
They were ruthless, dude. Like, they had one tribe, like, they were trying to, like, there was one, voyage or whatever,
expedition.
There was one expedition that they were on, and they were forced to have the tribes people help them flee, like in canoes, I think, dugouts.
Mm-hmm.
And, but they made the tribe people, paddle, do all the work.
Of course.
While they were in the back, like relaxing. And they were like running out of water. They were getting hot under the sun, no water. They were like, what? And they were like, I think that the waves were getting too tall.
Rough.
Yeah. So they're like, we gotta drop some weight. So they kicked the tribesmen out of the boats, and they're all in the waves, like, oh, help. And whenever they were to reach up to get their hands on the edge of the boat, they would pull out their swords and whoosh, cut their hands off, like you're staying in the water.
Sick bastards.
There you go. Dinner in hell. I once in a while we do that to each other.
Yeah, you got me.
Yeah.
You got me with that one.
Yeah, there you go.
He also, Columbus, can be credited with spearheading the transatlantic slave trade itself. 1495, his men captured in a single raid 1,500 Arawak men, women, and children. He shipped 500 of the slaves to Spain. 40% died en route. Almost half of them didn't even make it there alive. I mean, not only was he the one who sent the first slaves across the Atlantic Ocean, he did more than any other single individual, probably by about 5,000 individual native people sold into slavery.
Wow. Happy Columbus Day. I don't know if people realize this, but you know how there's different areas that are trying to change the name of Columbus Day? You're saying to Indigenous Peoples Day?
Yes. I believe Seattle did that recently, and I applaud that. I think that's a much more worthy commemoration.
Well, the city, Columbus, Ohio, I don't know if you realize this, but they are in the process of going through a name change to Kings Island, Ohio, just so they don't live in there, because they're named after Columbus.
Yeah, they should. They fucking should.
They're going to change their own name out of respect.
Yeah, I would like that if they did that. See, originally they attempted to operate, slavery as least as Americans are most familiar with the practice as chattel slavery, like the full ownership of people. You're kept in captivity, and that's it. That's your life. But the people began to die at incredibly high rates. And believe it or not, this is not ideal because he's trying to get these people to work. He doesn't necessarily want them to die. Instead of doing this, he switched to a tributary system of forced labor, like you would be much more familiar with if you listen to our Nightmare King of the Congo episode about Leopold.
Yeah.
This is a similar scenario here, except instead of the R word, we're talking about gold.
Right.
So every individual was responsible to bring one hawk's bell, whatever the hell that means. I couldn't figure that out. Full of gold powder to the Europeans every month. Which that seems like a lot of gold to me. I don't know how easy or difficult gold is to get. I always think of people like straining it out of streams.
I think you meant it was every 3 months.
Oh, yeah. Every 3 months. They had to have one hawk's bell full of gold powder every 3 months. If they did, they got a little copper token they could wear around their necks, which theoretically meant they had done their tributary duty and they were okay for the 3-month period.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you didn't bring that hawk's bell full of gold, didn't get that token, they had their hands amputated and then were then just left to bleed to death.
Also, ears and nose were removed too sometimes.
Yeah, let's just jack it up a notch.
Ugh.
Make it really horrible.
Freaking hand removal.
Keeps coming back. The
God.
canoes and then here too.
So essentially, you get that copper token around your neck. You want that thing around your neck for the rest of your freaking life.
Oh, I assume they change the type of token every 3 months.
I was gonna say, like, once they take it off you
better get that gold ready. Yeah.
You're losing a hand, so you want to keep it.
If they're taking one off you and not putting a new one on right away, try running, I guess. I don't know.
It's like Survivor. Okay, bring me your necklace.
Jeez.
Put your hand on the stump. Tree stump.
If that was what Survivor was still like, I mean, those ratings they'd have to be sky high.
Pay-per-view Survivor.
Yeah. It's like a Survivor death match. Blood Island or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Looks like a super villain's lair.
The guy's doing a confessional, like, yeah, man, I don't know what's wrong with Bray. Goes to scratch his head with a stump, like no hand. I don't know what's going on with him, man. He's moody. Like, where'd your hand go, bro?
I think they have an alliance.
Yeah.
Now, the Arawaks did attempt to fight back against Columbus's men, but they were severely mismatched from a technological perspective. I mean, the Europeans had armor, guns, swords, and horses. The native population's weaponry consisted solely of bow and arrow. Which, I mean, going up against guns, bow and arrow is not a super good thing. You don't feel like you have a tactical advantage there.
Unless you're slick with that bow and arrow.
Yeah, you'd have to be. And they fought tenaciously because when they were taken prisoner, they were either hanged or burned to death. Which is...
God damn it.
Yeah. Two pretty rough ways to go, if you ask me.
Thought they hanged over a lot of things we mentioned on our program.
Oh, definitely. Like 90% of them. Especially if it's a quick, like, snap one.
Yeah.
Not the
Clean
choke
jerk.
hang. Yeah.
Floor drops out kind of deal.
Yeah, and drop like 10 feet and it snaps your neck right away. Yeah, that one wouldn't be that bad. The chokey one would, as your like neck gets deformed and shit while you take like 10 minutes to die. That doesn't sound like fun at all.
So these Arawaks, they're getting desperate. They're being enslaved. They're getting amputations.
Yeah, just brutal repression. They're subject to never-ending violence.
They get desperate.
They definitely do. What the Arawak people turn to in order to escape this horrible treatment were two things. One is mass suicide. Rather than deal with the horrors that the Spanish were dealing out to themselves, they would kill themselves.
It's like they're
the final bastion of anything you can do to escape this. I mean, maybe there's some time travelers.
Maybe that tells you a little about the employees that try to kill themselves in China at like the iPhone factories.
Yeah.
Or whatever factories.
Yeah.
They have like nets outside the windows because they try to jump off like the 6th floor and shit.
Yes, I think that comparison is incredibly astute. That is very well put, Ron.
Overworked.
Yes.
All work, no play makes someone want to jump out of a window.
Yeah, it makes you have to build suicide nets around the side of your building to catch the people who jump from it.
Modern day Arawaks. They would also kill their own children, right? So they wouldn't have to have a life of this bullshit?
Yeah, they would say this is no world to live in, and they would kill their own children so that they wouldn't be subjected to this. I mean, we're talking 2 years. In just 2 years under Columbus's governorship, more than half of the 250,000 Arawaks in Haiti were dead. By 1508, only 60,000 people remained on the whole island.
Damn. You haven't seen Apocalypto, right?
No, I've watched a few scenes after I saw that one, but I haven't watched the film.
Yeah, I think you should. It's great, especially the ending. People that are listening to me tell you this right now are going, "Yep, yeah, the ending. Yep, you guys are."
It's possible I'll see it one day.
Yeah. Can I tell you?
What? Yeah, let me have it.
You know, at the end of Lord of the Flies, when the hunters are chasing like Jack through the jungle, they end up on the beach and there's like a freaking army guy going, "What the hell are you boys doing?" Well, in the Apocalypto, this other tribe is chasing after this lone freaking guy that was almost enslaved. He escaped. They're chasing him. Remember that scene where they're sacrificing him? He got to live. So finally, at the end, they finally catch up with this guy, right? And like, what? And they look out, and then you see their faces staring at the water, and then they show the water, and there's Spanish ships with sails. So they're like, it's kind of like Lord of the Flies, like, what the fuck?
It's like out of the frying pan into the fire type situation.
And like the guy's like, we need to go into the jungle. Let's get the fuck away from these boats. Like he had a bad feeling about it. Yeah, so that's the ending.
Yeah, it's a good bad.
Spoiler alert! If you haven't seen Apocalypto yet, I think it's like a 2005 movie or something. It's good. I liked it.
Yeah, now we're talking about 190,000 people dead in like a decade, right? That, folks, is what we in the business call genocide.
That's right. Classic genocide.
Yeah, it's argued by some historians to be like a primary example of it. Like if you want to explain genocide to them, look at what happened to the Taino people on Hispaniola, because they're not around anymore. I mean, some of these deaths were caused by a later epidemic of smallpox breaking out. But let it be told that there was revenge, sort of, because syphilis came from the New World back to Europe from this encounter as well.
Shit. There's other revenge as well. Like, did Native Americans not have tobacco, introduced tobacco, right? They were growing tobacco in America and introduced it to the white guys, right?
Yeah, they'd been smoking it ritual for a long time.
Right. And how many deaths of white people has tobacco caused from the cigarette industry?
Oh, probably. God only knows. So many.
Right. Native Americans are like, smoke up, bitch. You don't see Native Americans smoking. They refuse. It's conspiracy.
No, they do.
You'll never see a Native American smoking a cigarette. Ever. A pipe.
Traditional medicinal tobacco use. Yeah, that's encouraged.
Yeah, peyote.
Yeah, while he was around here, though, he did find himself in a jam where he was stranded, low on supply, with some local natives, and they were starting to get sick of his shit, basically. And he, in order to desperately try and get them to give more food, referred to his almanac. I think you know this one a little bit better than me, Ron. You want to lay this one on him?
Well, the tribe refused to give him any more food. They were
done
out of
with
food.
It. They're done
like,
with
please.
this shit.
Like, they're trying to trade him. They're like out of shit to trade. And so what happened was Columbus had this almanac, is it a nautical almanac or a farmer's almanac? But anyways, it showed that on that night, this particular night, there was going to be a lunar eclipse. Mm-hmm. So he's kind of like, he tells the leader of this tribe, look, man, my white god is very upset with you guys for not freaking feeding my crew and myself. Tonight, he's going to turn the moon into blood. And sure enough, that night there was a lunar eclipse, turns red. Mm-hmm. And the guy's like, oh my God, here, listen, take these pigs. Like, take all this food. And, but there's people that say that that's a bullshit story. Because people are pretty aware of eclipses. This isn't the first eclipse they've ever seen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but they might not know what causes it.
Okay.
If they don't know what causes it, and he can say it's gonna happen tonight, they'll probably take his word for it.
Okay, yeah.
That's what I'm, right. That's what I was kind of thinking.
It? Yeah, the magic is calling it.
Yep. If it would have just happened on its own, they probably would have just been like, huh, that's weird.
He's like the Chris Angel of freaking Christopher Columbus.
Mind freak.
Yeah, Christopher
Yeah, he
Columbus.
mind freaked him.
Yeah, totally. He's like, look inside your beer bottle. What? It's your card. What? How'd you what?
Now let me cut some body parts off of you because for some reason.
Take a bite out of a quarter. Spit it back on it. David Blaine.
I don't know. There isn't a whole lot as cute as that eclipse story, though. A contemporary of his writes, such inhumanities and barbarisms were committed in my sight as no age can parallel. My eyes have seen these acts so foreign to human nature that now I tremble as I write. Can you believe
That's got to be bad for back then to say that.
That's what I'm saying. It's like you were saying, like, we can't judge him by today's standards, but even that's what somebody from his time period wrote.
Yeah, like, if you think it's bad, this guy's real bad.
Yeah.
You future podcasters discussing this.
So, yeah, we were saying, so, like, the rest of them were bad, but at least according to people who were there, he was pretty fucking bad.
I take back any nice things I said.
No, he did do a couple of nice things. We got to give him credit.
Protecting the children.
And he was a good sailor, and he did find this whole other side of the world third.
He never put a foot on North America, the mainland, like Florida, or only on like the little Central American shit.
And as you'll recall, he was not the first European to reach this continent.
Hell no.
That was Leif Erikson, the Viking.
Eric the Red's kid?
Yeah. He was here much, much earlier.
Oh, yeah. They found coins that dated way back on Canadian soil.
Yeah, the Lanceau Meadows. They found a Viking settlement.
Yeah.
Also, he was not the first person to make it to South America. Again, already people living there. Those were the ones who discovered it. But the only reason he went looking for South America on his subsequent trips, of which he did make four trips to the New World, was King Ferdinand said, hey, I've been hearing my people tell me that on the west coast of Africa, we've been seeing Africans load up these canoes and head straight out west into the open ocean. So there's probably something over there. So he didn't fucking discover that either. There were Africans already traveling there and trading there.
Oh, loading them up with things to trade.
Yeah. So, like, he's not the first of much, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He is remembered, I guess, because he's the one who started permanent colonization, which, in retrospect, is bad.
You even yourself just said he's not the first to touch South America. He never did. His men
checked it out.
His men may have went ashore, but he stayed on the boat.
Yeah, I think he was pretty fucked up by then. Pretty sick.
He was so close. Like, he was so close to having a fortune from tobacco. He was so close for having the gift of chocolate.
He did have a massive fortune.
He was so close to discovering South America or, the North America, whatever. And he was also at one point, he was at the end of right where the Panama Canal is, before it was made, obviously. And he didn't realize it, but he was actually like 50 miles from the Pacific Ocean. So he was like always like so close on like awesomeness.
Mm-hmm.
Goddamn Columbus.
Yeah, so close.
You blew it.
So far away.
Conquistador, like I said earlier.
Yep. And
chopping hands off.
Yeah. And this is the story that makes me question your earlier story. Because later on, he had no such compunction about the age of the people that he would brutalize.
Yeah.
He sold sex slaves as young as 9 years old. I mean, he writes, again, this is his own words, 100 castellanos are as easily obtained for a woman as for a farm, and it is very general, and there are plenty of dealers who go about looking for girls. Those from 9 to 10 are now in demand.
Can you explain that to me? 100 castellanos are easily obtained for a woman as for a farm. I thought that meant
he means
to work on a farm.
A 9-year-old girl and a farm are the same price.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was like you could pay 100 castellanos for a adult woman to be a slave for your farm. That's what I thought. But no, I might say, yeah.
You either own that girl or you own a farm.
Wow.
Yeah.
A human life.
Yep.
What size farm we talking? How many acre?
I don't have that cattle? Context. Also, live babies were ripped from their mothers' arms and thrown to the dogs. Some merchants even, in fact, sold, quote-unquote, Indian meat to be employed as dog food.
You mentioned these dogs, and they've also been known as called battle dogs.
Mm-hmm.
They wear armor suits. Oh, there's a Google. I googled it, and the image on the first result was this like terrier, looked like a pit bull in a suit of armor. And the thing is did I already mention that one of these battle dogs was as strong as 20 Native American warriors?
No,
or Native warriors from the islands. Yeah, that's what they counted them for. Like, oh yeah, one of these dogs can handle 20 people. That's how shitty these Native warriors are.
And I'm torn right now because also obviously the use of dogs to kill you should never use man's best friend against people. Dogs are gentle, loving creatures, and they should always be that.
You're gonna love this. The other people, the tribes, had dogs, but they were like non-barking dogs. They call them. They referred to them as. And when I was reading about it, and these dogs were mainly there as food. They were the tribe's food. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're edible dogs. Yeah.
Well, anything's edible if you try hard enough.
But that's what they are known. Like, there's battle dogs, there's edible dogs. If you Google, if you get into the dog,
the dog
lore
of this
dog lore.
Yeah. Again, even his contemporaries filed numerous complaints against Columbus in regards to his blatant mismanagement and over-the-top brutality. And in fact, in the year 1500, he was arrested by a royal commissioner who took him back to Spain in chains. He was stripped of his title as governor. However, before things got too permanent, King Ferdinand sort of pardoned him. Didn't give him the governorship back. He never got that back, but he did finance a final fourth voyage for him.
When he was in chains on the ship going, when they were traveling, the captain was like, "Hey man, I can unchain you. Like, you don't have to travel like this. I know who you are. I ain't gonna be a dick." Christopher Columbus was like, "No, leave me chained. The only person to unchain me is the queen."
He was sick. I mean, throughout a lot of this, he would have long stretches where he would be bedridden. A lot of people thought it was gout. Not gout. What it turns out that he had, based on his symptoms, is reactive arthritis. He got arthritis from food poisoning, which now terrifies me.
Well,
I didn't know you could get arthritis from infections, but evidently you can, and that's just a new horror I didn't know of that now I have to face in the world.
there was times when they had like zero food, like we said, and there were times where they had the men would eat their gruel. Here we go, dinner and hell gruel mention. They would eat their gruel at night because there'd be, ready for this, maggots in their gruel, and they didn't want to have to see it because if it was daylight, they wouldn't eat it with the shit in there. And
but you get that extra shot of protein, keep you alive.
Yeah, positive.
Just imagine though, you're slurping up already fucking gruel, which is just gross and horrible, and then you get that squish on that bite.
Yeah. Another thing that hurt didn't do his health any favors was he didn't sleep a lot on these journeys, but there was one night where he was so exhausted that he had to he was like, someone else take the wheel, like I'm exhausted, I have to sleep. So this other guy's like, all right, no problem. Well, that guy has this other guy do it, and he's like, I ain't doing it, you fucking do it. And the guy's like, it's my first day. And that guy they crashed into a coral reef. Like it was the third guy down the, like, what'd you do?
Just kicking the responsibility down the line.
All kinds of wild shit that the Columbus stories go on and on. There's like at one point he used to wear this like crazy gown, like like Columbus.
I'm a nice fancy lad.
Yeah, like golden, colorful and everything. Impressive. Well, there was a point at the end where they had traded everything they had to these tribes for food. Like they were marooned. They had nothing left. Like the unlucky part of Columbus, that like they would trade beads to these people for food. He ended up in like his underwear or whatever because he traded his royal fucking cloak and gown.
It's funny,
for supplies. Also,
probably still kept like a weird tricorner hat to wear just in his skivvies.
In order to like actually make some kind of escape to leave the island, one of his men sold a suit of armor for a canoe. Like some guys walking around in this jungle like, check out my suit of armor, bitch.
I'm invincible.
Cost me a canoe. I'll get another canoe. Where are you gonna find this shit? It's like Air Jordans.
Yeah.
Like
I'd say it's a good trade, man, because suit of armor.
Hell yeah. Where are you going to get a suit of armor? That's got to be worth...
one of a kind. On Hispaniola, I'm sure.
So where do we rank Columbus on our list of infamous monsters from human history?
I'd
number
say
20?
he's... No. You ever watched the Tour de France?
We've covered a lot of them, mother effers.
Yeah, you ever watch the Tour de France?
Yeah, all the time. I don't miss it.
You know how
every minute.
You'll have like a few people at the front, and then you have a few people at the back, and then in the middle you have the peloton. It's like the huge mass of people. I'd say Columbus is somewhere in the peloton.
Who is a worse human, Columbus or Madame Lalaurie Truffaut from New Orleans Nightmare?
Yeah, I think she was maybe more sadistic, maybe enjoyed the hands-on more. That makes me more repulsed by her for some reason.
Remember her iron spiked collar where you couldn't turn your head for the slave to wear?
Yeah.
But Columbus is responsible for more human atrocities.
And
the amount of slaves alone.
Without him, she may have never had the opportunity to own another person.
Without him discovering America, she would never have came to America. God damn it. Columbus's fault for all American atrocities.
Yeah, basically. I'm sure some other fuck would have done it eventually, but yeah, it happens to be him.
I heard Columbus Day is going to be changed to American Atrocity Day.
I could live with that.
Happy American Atrocities Day. Just throw a handful of dog shit at somebody. Fuck you.
That sounds like my kind of holiday. Just total chaos. It's like a purge type scenario.
You
honestly.
roll your window down, you see someone on the corner, you got a handful of dog shit, fresh. You got a vinyl glove on, you're good. In case you're allergic to latex, vinyl. Specific. You pull up, you're hey man, I just need directions. And what? I just need directions. You take that handful, you throw it right in their fucking face, and then you pull out, you floor it, baby. You're like, Happy American Atrocities Day.
And then everyone
America.
laughs. Everyone just laughs and laughs and laughs.
Holy shit.
Speaking of American atrocities, do y'all listeners out there have any specific atrocities you'd like to hear about? I'd love to tell you about them.
What was one Trail of Tears you mentioned before?
Yeah, that's on the list. The Trail of Tears. We could do the Tuskegee experiment. We'll get into civil rights.
You know what? I noticed that people were listening to our Hitler episode. It's really weird. Like randomly, all of a sudden our Nazi episodes are getting played.
It's almost like it's been in the news.
So I'm like, let me listen to this Hitler episode. And it's pretty, I listened back to the old episode. It's a pretty freaking solid episode. But yeah, I was concerned. I was like, what did we say? What are people
just like trying to remember, they're trying to learn.
Yeah.
Have a good time. Listen to Ron Maiden, make them laugh.
Try to.
Well, if you have any specifically that you'd like us to cover, a great place to reach us would be on Twitter at Dinner in Hell Pod. We're on Facebook. We're on SoundCloud. We're on YouTube. iTunes. Don't forget to rate and review, please. We're on Stitcher. We're on any kind of podcast app there is. We're on that shit.
I think there was one called Pocket Podcast.
Yep, we get it from there. We actually get referrals from some place called WTR Ministries, which is a church. So shout out to you guys. Keep plugging us on whatever the hell you're doing. I don't know how you're doing it, but we like you over there at WLTR Ministries.
I want to drop this on you. I don't know if you're aware of this, but there's you can see, sometimes you can see stats of where our plays come from. Mm-hmm. And one of them's from Dinner in Hell's website.
Finally?
Yes. Someone listened. It said,
oh shit. I haven't updated that thing in months.
Yeah, July 11th.
Oh, shit. I gotta fix that website. That's on my to-do list now. Yeah. I totally forgot we even had it.
Yeah, we got to play from it. Someone went to it. Congratulations, you found it.
Hell yeah. Number one.
We had a visitor.
I think the first one.
Don't go to it.
I stopped. By the time this is out, wait a month, and then I'll fix it by then go to it.
Yeah, it exists.
I think that's literally the first time that's ever happened.
It costs $4,000 a year, and you don't even update it. We need sponsors, you guys.
Yeah, we got bandwidth fees.
This studio alone isn't cheap. We only get a little bit of time here, but it's expensive.
Gas bill was $465 this month.
Yeah.
Look at this audience.
Oh, and this band.
Crushing it.
Christopher Columbus.
Glad to have this one in the rear view. I feel like it's important to talk about, though.
Yep. People always hear bad shit. Well, they can listen to this episode and hear it all.
Thank you.
One place. Thank you, Brad.
Thank you for listening, those of you at home. I love you. Good night.